to the Who Dat Nation. Welcome to the Who Dat Say podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. I am your fellow Who Dat and host, Kevin Reed, and we have arrived at week 4 of the NFL season as the 0-3 New Orleans Saints will go back on the road for a second consecutive week to battle the undefeated 3-0 Buffalo Bills in a week 4 meeting in upstate New York on Sunday, 12 noon. The Saints will be looking to get in the win column for the first time this season following a long trip back from Seattle, Washington, where they suffered their most embarrassing loss in recent memory as they lost to the Seahawks, not 30, but 44-13 in the week 3 matchup up there. This is I would say a test, but it's not really a test for the Saints. It's a test in a sense. I'll put it this way. This week, how do you bounce back from an embarrassing loss like you had last week where nothing went right? It was literally Murphy's Law last week in Seattle. Everything that could have went wrong. Offense sputtered, your special teams was non-existent, your defense was non-existent, they undisciplined, you couldn't make a field goal, you couldn't punch it in the end zone. It was just a mess. It was a mess. The only shining light, I guess you could say the last 3 games of this season, or the first 3 games, depending on how you look at it, is Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is the one player who I can honestly say consistently has been battling all 3 weeks of this season thus far. Everybody else, sporadic, inconsistent. They look good in week 1, not so much week 2, all right in week 3, or vice versa. They was decent in week 1, but played good in week 2. In week 3, they disappeared, and things like that. But Spencer Rattler really has been battling. He looks crisp, He had 70% complete percentage last week, in spite of throwing his first interception of the season in that game. But that was them just trying to make something out of nothing at the end of the game. But, that's the only one. And that's why I get these, I don't know, man. I just got a lot of questions asked of me throughout the week, especially when the word came out of New York that the Giants have benched Russell Wilson for Jackson Dart. And, the writing was on the wall there anyway. There's no shock there. But then all the speculations came, Russell Wilson possibly on the trade block. So the Saints make a pitch for Russell Wilson. Look, I liked Russell Wilson. I still do like Russell Wilson, to be honest with you. He's not the same Russell Wilson in Seattle, but he's a decent veteran quarterback that the Saints needed. The Saints been needed. I don't know why we went into this season with no veteran quarterback, but what's done is done. At this point, it doesn't make sense to bring in a veteran quarterback. It really doesn't, because Spencer Rattler has looked pretty decent, week to week. He's improved in areas week to week. He hasn't quite crossed that benchmark yet, of course. He has yet to win a game as a starter, but he looks all right. He is developing. We got to keep in mind, I think we're going into his 10th start of his career. We treat this guy like he's supposed to be Patrick Mahomes. I know he favors Patrick Mahomes, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. There's only one Patrick Mahomes, and he's in Kansas City. So stop that. And Patrick Mahomes didn't start off on fire, and Patrick Mahomes went into a situation where he had a team that was built for him. He had all pros. He had a future Hall of Fame coach, so he had a really good situation. Oh, I say have. you kind of lean the hat because they're in the same boat that we're in right now. They haven't won a game yet this season, but who cares about the Chiefs right now? We're talking about the Saints. But I'm saying all that to say that let's give this guy a chance. It takes time. It takes time for a quarterback to get to the point where he becomes a franchise quarterback. You don't want him to start off hot. Normally, when quarterbacks start off hot, they quickly cool off. Case in point, you look at Jaden Daniels. Now, I still think Jaden Daniels is going to be a really good quarterback in this league, but so far this season, he doesn't look like the same Jaden Daniels as he did last season when he took his team to the playoffs. You look at C.J. Stroud, his first season, man, he was looking like the MVP of the league. He was just a gem over there in Houston. Ever since then, it's been a law of diminishing returns. So you really don't want him to start off too hot. You want him to, you want the opposite effect. Let him take those bumps. Let him learn, trial by fire. Then they can progress and become a better player. That's what I'm hoping for with Spencer Rattler. And that goes for Tyler Shuck as well. I don't want to just throw him out yet. We don't know yet. But give him time. You give him time. I always say that Tyler Shuck isn't ready. But let's be honest with you. None of them are ready. Neither one of them were, quote unquote, ready. Because when they were supposed to be being, and I say they, Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck, you can throw Jake Hader in there as well. They weren't ready because they were too busy in battles, for the starting job. They didn't get a chance to learn. It was always, I got to beat this guy. I got to be better than him. It was never sit down, be secure in your role on this team. It was always a battle. That goes back to last season to this season. And, they never got the proper time to really learn. And so I'm not ready to just throw the baby out with the bathwater there for neither quarterback. And so let's give that time. You should have had a veteran quarterback in here. You should have had somebody that these guys can learn under, who can teach them the ins and outs, who can show them right for wrong. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We don't have that. They chose to go this route, and God bless us, and God bless them even more. But that's where we at there. I wouldn't get Russell Wilson right now. It just doesn't make sense. If it was the off season, if it was preseason during training camp, sure. But right now, it don't make sense. It just don't add up because number one, quarterback ain't your problem. Spencer Rattler, even though we're 0-3, Spencer Rattler ain't the reason we're 0-3. That's not the reason. The quarterback position is not the reason we're in the position that we're in. The problem is we're undisciplined. We lead the league in penalties. That says it all. That says it all. We on defense, we can't get any turnovers. We also are highly penalized on defense as well. Our special teams is suffering, not only with the punt returns and that of that nature. Blake Grupe is averaging 1 miss a game. We're hurting. We're hurting all over the field as a team. And so, the one good thing we can look at is quarterback. And so it's a deeper issue that we have here, as far as the Saints and their issues that need addressing. The offensive line. We're hurt. We are hurting there, not only injury wise, but with play. Cesar Ruiz is the worst offensive lineman in football, and that's not being facetious or nothing like that. That is an actual fact. Football Focus grades him the worst offensive lineman in all of football. He is horrible. He is horrible in that position. Aside from that, then you have basically two rookies as the anchors on both sides. The only shining light on that offensive line is Eric McCoy, your center. Other than that, everything else is lacking. Every other position, guards and tackles. Defensively, well, I'll stay at offense for a second. Offense, we we have three quality running backs that we don't use. Number one, you don't use Alvin Kamara. Why is Alvin Kamara not being used as the focal point of this offense? Why isn't he the playmaker on this offense? There's no playmakers. Now, you have players that are capable of being playmakers, but nobody is a playmaker because they're not given an opportunity. Why isn't the offense ran through Alvin Kamara? He is your guy. He can run. He can catch. He can run routes. He does it all. He is the deadliest weapon in the league. One of the deadliest weapons in the league. You see how everybody puffs up Christian McCaffrey over there in 49er land? It's the same. They're the same running back. They have the same skill set. But for some strange reason, Alvin Kamara is not being used in this matter. It is frustrating to see that this run game is struggling. Kendrick Miller, it looks like he's, knock on wood, he's staying healthy. He's looking good. Why I think he's averaging like 5-6 yards a carry. Why isn't he getting the ball? Why? And you got Devin Neal, but you're not using him. Then we move over to the receiving core. I don't even know what to say. I mean, your leading receiver is Juwan Johnson, and that's saying a lot. He is not a tight end, and he's barely a receiver. Yeah, he'll give you a spectacular catch here or there, but the simplest, basic, fundamental catches, you are praying. You are praying that he catches it because he will put him on the ground. Chris Olave, we got him listed as a number one, but he's not a number one. Can he be one? Sure. If you watched him in Ohio State, yeah, he could be a number one. But since he had a Florida lease on his helmet, I haven't seen anything that screams number one receiver. Rashid Shaheed can't pick on him because they can't get him the ball. I find it hard to believe he can't get open. He is the best route runner on the team, believe it or not, but he is not getting the ball. He's not getting the opportunities. Now, in all fairness, Spencer Rattler don't have time to get him the ball because he has a defender in his face because the offensive line is trash. It's cause and effect, people. Cause and effect. For the past 3 weeks, I've been hearing all this slander against Spencer Rattler. And I'm like, are y'all actually watching the game? Are y'all actually watching this guy run for his life? There was a couple of plays in the 49er game, I believe, where the ball was hiked. And it was almost simultaneous. As the ball hit his hand, a 49er was there with him. It was almost simultaneously. That's how quick they were there. They were basically unblocked. And you expect him to find the hot route that fast. Drew Brees couldn't do that. And by the way, congratulations to Drew Brees. He hasn't been officially elected into the Football Hall of Fame, but he is a part of the class that can be, which he's going to be. It's no point playing this song and dance. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Congratulations to him. Rightfully deserved. If anybody should have been immediately, for the first time in history, immediately enshrined in the Hall of Fame the moment they retired, it should have been Drew Brees. The greatest quarterback the Saints have ever had. Is not even close there, but one of the best quarterbacks to ever touch the field. I name me one that accurate. He is one of the most accurate quarterbacks to ever touch an NFL football field. And at his height, being listed at 6 feet, but I've stood next to Drew Brees. Well, not stood, but I kind of walked past him one time at a restaurant, and I'm 5 foot nothing. Drew Brees is maybe a couple of inches taller than me, so I know he's not 6 feet tall. But at his height, to do what he did and consistently is unbelievable. Throwing for over 5,000 yards, what, 3 different times? Unbelievable. The dude, and he's a Super Bowl champion, thank God. But yeah, I just want to take time to shout him out for all of you who still dream about Drew Brees walking through that door and scrapping the helmet on one last time. It's not going to happen, people. We're past that, far past that. But hopping over the defense, our defensive line is hurting, physically and figuratively. We have a lot of injuries. We lost our rookie tackle. What's his name? Vernon Broughton. Yeah, he was out. He's out for the season, I believe. I know he got hurt. Who else got hurt? Why is it escaping my mind? But anyways, that whole well, we'll discuss that in a few minutes. Don't worry about that. But anyways, yeah, they are not getting pressure. They were getting pressure week 1 against Arizona, but since then they have yet to get pressure on any quarterback. And the funny part is, Kyler Murray is one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the league, and we managed to make him uncomfortable in the pocket. For the past 2 weeks, you've been going up against statues in Matt Jones and Sam Donald, and they just picked you apart, picked that defense apart. Secondary, we are in trouble. That brings me to another question that came up this week. The Houston Texans, they cut C.J. Garner-Johnson, our former safety, who has bounced around ever since he left New Orleans. He has not found a stable home since he left New Orleans. He went to Philly. Well, we traded him to Philly, stayed there a year, went to Detroit. They traded him, went back to Philly. They traded him, or they cut him, and then then Houston got him. He didn't make it a month, and they're ready to go their separate ways with him. I don't know if you can bring back C.J. Garner-Johnson, because C.J. Garner-Johnson, as much as I love him and as much as I hate that he left here, and if they decide to go that route and bring him back, I would love it. I just don't think that'll happen. I think those bridges were burnt. It goes far beyond Dennis Allen. I think this went up top because they traded him with the quickness. They went into negotiations, and the next thing you know, C.J. Garner-Johnson traded to Philly. I mean, what happened in that? Because he weren't negotiating with Dennis Allen. He was negotiating with Mickey Loomis. And so I think that was a Mickey Loomis deal. And so they sent him packing, and that was that. Do we need help in the secondary? Of course, we do. Kool-Aid McKendry is getting his lunch ate, man. I had a lot of high hopes for Kool-Aid, but Kool-Aid is suffering. But I think a lot of that is because Kool-Aid McKendry is not a number 1 corner. He wasn't in Alabama. So I don't know why we thought, and I say we because I thought it too. I don't know why we thought that he could do it here in the NFL against the best receivers in football. And he's struggling. He is struggling big time, but he's not alone. Alante Taylor is struggling big time. And this shines a light once again on Mickey Loomis with the decisions that have been made. You let Paulson Adebo just la-di-da out the door. You traded away Marshawn Lattimore, your 2 best corners. This all happened within 2 months of each other. And you just let them go. you know, and you have these guys here, young. They're young. I know it's going to be some growing pains in a lot of sense, but this has been horrible in that secondary. Thankfully, you haven't went up against a high-powered offense, and it could be worse if they went up against, let's say, a Buffalo Bills. They would be in trouble, and so that's what makes this week so interesting. Yeah, and our linebackers, Demario Davis, I love him to death, but he has lost a couple of steps there, and I think Strutman is a fine, but it's going to take time for him, and the rest of the core I don't know. It's just nothing seems to be working for the New Orleans Saints. Nothing. And the less said about Blake Groupie, the better. But that's basically where we at as a team. I know my initial prediction of winning 9 games this season, 8 or 9 games this season, that has drastically changed. I honestly, that was just a prayer that we can win 8. I thought that we could. I really did. I thought that we could. I thought at this point we'll be 1-2, or possibly 2-1. We could have been 2-1 at this point, but we fell short a couple of times. The sad part about this, the real sad part about this, if you look around the NFC South, you take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of the equation, who are currently undefeated and look like one of the best teams in the league. They definitely look like one of the best team in the NFC, period. Because I can't think of one team that looks as good as Tampa Bay right now. They look like they got it going. Aside from them, nobody else in this division looks good. Atlanta looks like trash. They just got blown out by the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm not going to kick them while they're down, because look what happened to us on that same day. And so I can't really speak on that too much, but Carolina, man. And in Carolina, that was the only game that they've managed to put together in the past 2 or 3 years. I haven't seen Carolina look that good. Man, you got to go back to Cam Newton. The last time Carolina looked that good in a game. But both of them are sitting at 1-2 right now. We're literally 1 game behind them, and we haven't won a game yet. That tells you that the NFC South, yet again, is one of the worst divisions in football, and the Saints are still, if they can manage to squeak out 1 or 2 wins, possibly 3 before the bye, they'll still be in the thick of it at the end of this season. And that's going to infuriate me more, because deep down, yeah, my heart will be cheering, but in the back of my mind, I know better. I know that we don't stand a snowball's chance, and you know where, of winning this division, or even being in contention to win this division. So, we move on. But speaking of the South, let's whip around the South. Who would they be taking on our division opponents this upcoming Sunday, this upcoming weekend? Well, Atlanta, they will be hosting the Washington Commanders, who are 2-1. It looks like Atlanta going to lose again. Atlanta had to bench Michael Penix last week. Michael Penix looked, oh my God. And we complain about Spencer Rattler. Michael Penix looked bad. He looked bad, man. But they play the Commanders. The only good thing about that, I'm saying good, but I'm wishing him well. Jaden Daniels, I think he'd been ruled out of that game. He got hurt last week, but Marcus Mariota will be taking over in that game, and he did good. He looked good coming in off the bench last week. Also around the league, you have the Carolina Panthers. They go on the road to face the New England Patriots, and the Patriots are struggling too. They're 1-2 as well, but I don't know, man. That's a flip 'em game. You can You could say Carolina wins it, and you'll be pretty all right for picking that, making that pick. And you can say the Patriots win that game, and you can be all right with that as well. It's no way to decide because they both are pretty much the same team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are undefeated, as I mentioned before, they will be hosting the defending Super Bowl champs, who are also 3-0 this week. Somebody's O has got to go. I don't know, man. That's going to be a good game. That's a possible NFC Championship preview in that game. Two best two best teams in the NFC as a whole, the conference. And so I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the outcome of that. The Saints fan and me hoping for Philly to win, and that's about it. I don't I don't have nothing else to say about that. But the Saints will be taking on the Buffalo Bills. They have to travel all the way to Buffalo to play these undefeated Bills led by Josh Allen, and they look like a well-oiled machine. This will be the 13th time that these two teams have played each other. Surprisingly, New Orleans holds the lead in the series. In the previous 12 games, the Saints are 7-5 against the Buffalo Bills all time, having a 5-game win streak in this series broken by the Buffalo Bills just a few years ago in 2021 when they played on Thanksgiving Day. If you remember that game here in New Orleans, when the Bills mollywopped us. I think it was like 31-3 or 31-6 or something like that. Yeah, it was ugly. But that's what broke that little win streak that we had over them. But here we are again, week 4 of the 2025 NFL season. The Buffalo Bills have a 80% chance, according to ESPN. 80, or to be more accurate, 80.2% chance of defeating the New Orleans Saints, who have a 19.7% chance of beating the Bills. You can take that bet if you want, thinking you're going to come up. Good luck. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I would tell you. But the season leaders for both teams, beginning with the passing yardage, of course, Spencer Rattler is the leader, passing leader for the New Orleans Saints. He is 80 for 119 pass attempts, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 639 yards passing. Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills passing leader, 69 of 99, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 755 yards passing. Leading rusher for the New Orleans Saints is Alvin Kamara, 50 rushes for 186 yards and 1 touchdown. For the Buffalo Bills is James Cook. He has 53 carries, 284 yards rushing, and 4 touchdown. Leading receiver for the New Orleans Saints is Jawan Johnson, 19 receptions, 176 yards, and 1 touchdown. For the Buffalo Bills, Keon Coleman, he has 14 receptions, 187 yards, and 1 touchdown. Sack leader for both teams for the Saints is Carl Granderson with 3.5. For the Bills, Daquin Jones, their defensive tackle, he has 1 sack on the season. Leading tackler, and that'll be Demario Davis for the Who Dat Nation. He has 31 tackles. For the Buffalo Bills, Christian Benford, their cornerback, he has 15 tackles so far this season. Team rankings, the New Orleans Saints in total offense are ranked 19th in total offense in the NFL 3 weeks into this season. Buffalo Bills, number 1 in total offense. It's going to be a long Sunday, people. Total defense, Saints are 25th in the league. Buffalo Bills are 20th in total defense in the league. Let's go over our injury report. Yes, people, our favorite part of this program, our injury report. And this is, I don't know, man. I have questions. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, if you will. Chase Young will miss his fourth consecutive game. He has yet to play this season. Still dealing with that calf injury. He is ruled out. Can somebody please be transparent and say what is the issue? Okay, it's the calf, but how serious is this calf injury? You have players coming back from turf toe. And if you don't know how serious turf toe is, Joe Burrow is basically out for the season with turf toe. Trevor Penning had turf toe. He's coming back this week. Well, actually, he played a little last week. He's coming back this week as well. Chase Young has been dealing with this calf for over a month. And when they initially announced it, it was like, oh, it's not that serious, blah, blah, blah. But here we are a month later, and he's still not here. The part that's disturbing with me, we have yet to see him. He's not on the sideline. He's not with the team. He's not practicing, of course, but can he be at practice, rehabbing or something? He's been incognito. There's no signs of Chase Young. What is going on? Is this something deeper there? Is it something that they just want to hold secret that, I don't know, man. I don't see it could be a contract issue because you just signed the contract. And so none of this makes sense. But he's ruled out. We have to wait another week and see if he plays again because, man, look, Chase Young can really help this defensive line. Really help it. And he's not here. Now, if he's hurt, I'm not blaming him. You know, nobody wants to get hurt, but come on, man. Come on. Also ruled out Dylan Rodux. I can never say his last name. The offensive tackle. He's been ruled out with a toe. Questionable for Sunday's matchup. You have our wide receiver, Devon Verley. He's questionable with a hip. And you also have Trevor Penning, who is questionable, but he is expected to play. For the Buffalo Bills, they really don't have too many players on their list. We don't have that many either, but they don't have anybody that I can tell that is impactful that's going to change the course of the game. They ruled two players out. Ed Oliver, their defensive tackle, he is out, and Matt Milano is out with a pectoral, their linebacker, and that's about it for them. Keys to victory. I mean, what can you say? Play your game. I don't know what their game is. I don't know what the Saints have. Zero identity. I don't know what they are doing. And what's scary, I don't think they know what they're doing. Yeah, it's very disturbing, man. I don't know where to begin to say they can attack this game and shock the world and defeat the Buffalo Bills this Sunday. My only hope, my only prayer is that we don't have an outing like we did in Seattle. That is not a complete embarrassment. That the game isn't over in the first quarter. Keep it competitive. If they're able to keep it competitive and actually hang with them for a little while, that's a win in my book. Nobody's expecting you to win this game. Nobody expected you to win in Seattle. We just didn't expect you to lose like that in Seattle. But I do expect them, because they are men at the end of the day. They were embarrassed. And I think they're going to try to send a message here. Now, will it be strong enough for them to rally and defeat the Buffalo Bills? I don't think so. I don't think so. Buffalo Bills are way too good of a team. And that's all credit to Buffalo. This has nothing to do against the Saints and their deficiencies. Is more that Buffalo is just a juggernaut. Well coached, uh, really good players, awesome quarterback, everything you need to win, they have it. And we're rebuilding. We're a young team, a very young team, and very old in other spots. So there's no in between. We either too young or too old. There is no in between for the New Orleans Saints. But the Saints, my prediction, the Saints will fall to 0-4. The only question is how. The only question is, will they muster up enough courage to come out and play a respectable game to earn the respect of the league? Because right now, the whole town's laughing at you. It's not good, man. People are threatening to break out the paper bags, man. It's not a good look for the Who Dat Nation. But um, I'm just hoping for respect, a game that I can actually watch and not cringe watch or pick up the phone like I did last week and try to do something else. Look at my fantasy scores and see if my team won, which they did, by the way. And I did get that victory, so it kind of softened the blow. But as far as my squad, my Who Dat, nah, bro, it's not looking good. But more important, that's my thoughts. But more importantly, I would like to know yours. Do you think the Saints can shock the world here? Now, any given Sunday, anything is possible. I didn't see the Carolina Panthers blowing out the Atlanta Falcons. You couldn't. My mama couldn't have told me that going into that game. I probably would have called her a lie and then got beat half to death. But along with Atlanta, but you couldn't convince me that was going to happen. And here we are. Can the Saints do that? I don't know. Now that Buffalo has been coming off of a mini bye, if you will. They played last Thursday, so they had a few extra days to prepare. That's in heavy quotations to prepare for this game. Well rested. The Saints they've been traveling. They had to go all the way to Seattle, come all the way back to New Orleans, and go all the way to Buffalo again. So it's tiresome for them. But I don't know. But I want to know your thoughts. That was the initial question. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I implore you to do that as well. The KB Radio Network channel. Like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Who Dat Say podcast here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this preview of the Week 4 matchup between our New Orleans Saints and their Buffalo Bills. Don't forget, I'll be back after the game to give my reaction to a game. I normally say it's to a Saints victory, but I'm not even going to set you up for that. But you can catch me then as we recap the game. Until then, no matter what, I'm still going to be screaming, "Who dat?"